Hi, I'm Kevin. Today in the New York Times I saw a recipe for linguine with chickpeas and rosemary. So I'm going to make my own version of that recipe using bucatini. Bucatini is another long spaghetti. It's thick, it's very meaty, and you should be able to find it in any supermarket. And a 29-ounce can of chickpeas and some fresh sprigs of rosemary. Let me set up the camera and we'll get started with the recipe. Alright, so the first thing we have to do is open the can of chickpeas and pour it through a wire mesh sieve. Drain them, and then I'm going to take this over to the sink and rinse the chickpeas. Don't go away! Okay, that was easy enough to do. Give this a shake. And then, because we're going to fry the chickpeas, they need to be as dry as possible. So, since chickpeas look particularly nice on a blue kitchen towel, that's what I'm using. You could use paper towels if that's all you have. Spread these out. Now, to encourage the chickpeas to dry, just fold the towel over them and roll like this. Some of these chickpeas are trying to escape. There we go. Yeah, they're pretty dry already. Okay, on to the rosemary. Alright, so I'm heating my stainless steel skillet over medium heat. And I'm using it's a very large skillet. I think it's 14 inches, or maybe it's just 12 inches, but it has fairly deep sides. That's what you want. If you don't have a deep skillet, you could always use a Dutch oven. And to the skillet, we're going to add a half cup of olive oil. And just let this oil get hot, at least until it shimmers. And we will be adding the rosemary to this. Let me explain where I acquired this rosemary. Not from my garden, because it's still winter here. So I got this rosemary from a place called the Berry Farm in Chatham, New York. They grow rosemary and many other herbs all winter long in solar heated greenhouses. How brilliant of them! And one of these days I'm going to take you on a tour of the Berry Farm. Well, let's see how this is doing. Yep, starting to sizzle. So in goes the rosemary. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, we'll use 12 sprigs of rosemary. We're going to let this cook for about 2 minutes on one side, and then I'll flip them over to the other side, and we'll have a look. Meanwhile, grab a plate and line it with a paper towel. I'm going to use the plate to drain the rosemary. Sorry about the noise, I'm grabbing my tongs. Yeah, fried rosemary is a wonderful thing. And the rosemary is going to scent this oil. And eventually the pasta will be put in the same oil, so the pasta will be infused with the wonderful rosemary fragrance. What are we doing here? I'm going to turn up the heat just a little. Yeah, when the rosemary is properly fried, the leaves will come off the stems very easily. If they don't come off the stems easily, it means the rosemary was not fried long enough. Okay, I'm going to flip these. Looking good. We want the leaves to be crispy. Eventually we will crush all of those leaves with the fingers. I love experimenting with new recipes, and I hope you do too. Sometimes it's easy to get stuck in a food rut, and we don't want that. I know my mother, well, I'll move the camera up. I know my mother used to pretty much cook. She was a good cook, but she used to cook the same things over and over and over again, and you get tired of eating the same stuff, right? Am I right? Okay, let's have a look at this. Down you go. Focus on the skillet. Oh, I wish you were in the kitchen with me because it smells like rosemary. I think these need just another minute. So I'll turn the camera off and come back. I don't want to bore you to tears. Be right back. Well, I think my pasta, or rather my rosemary, is good to go. So onto the paper towel it shall drain. And then I'm going to add some salt. Can you see? Add a bit of salt and a bit of pepper. See if I can move you over here. Just a few grinds of black pepper. That'll do it. And we're going to set this aside. Then into the same, oops, I'm going to move you back. Into the same skillet, I'm going to add the chickpeas. Get ready for a sizzle sound. Now, as these chickpeas cook, they're going to crisp up nicely. And some of them might actually burst like popcorn, and that is a good thing. So I'll let these cook for about 4 minutes or so, and then come back. And my water has achieved a rapid boil, so while the chickpeas are doing their thing, I'm going to salt the water. I'm going to put in, a couple of very generous tablespoons. When you salt pasta water, be sure to salt it after it comes to a boil. Apparently, if you add the salt when the water is still cold, the salt can pit the stainless steel. And then, what happened to my boil? Here we're coming back, and then in goes the pasta. That's 1 pound of bucatini. And this needs to boil just until it's al dente. Al dente means firm to the tooth. And I always cook my pasta al dente because there is nothing worse than overcooked, mushy pasta. And I'm going to set the timer for 9 minutes. Meanwhile, back to the chickpeas. I don't know if you can see, but they are starting to turn brown. And when they turn brown, it means they are turning crisp, and that's exactly what you want. Crispy chickpeas are a very good thing. And again, my pasta is timed for 9 minutes because that's going to give me the desired al dente bucatini. I'll be right back. Next, my rosemary has cooled enough, so I've got a little bowl here, and I'm going to just strip the leaves off the rosemary, and they are coming off very easily. So I guess I fried them long enough. Probably going to make a big mess while I'm doing this because I'm using a small bowl. But that's too bad. That's terrific. I feel like popping this in my mouth and just crunching. Here we go. Oh, this is wonderful. Marvelous. Delicious. All of these needles I'm going to put in here. I'll move these aside, the stems aside, and just empty the needles into the bowl. Set this aside. And back to the chickpeas. Let's see how they're doing. And we seem to be doing very well indeed. And my pasta, let's check that. Pasta is definitely done in less than 9 minutes. Let me turn the timer off. And then I'm going to drain the pasta, but I'm going to reserve 1 cup of the water, so let me do that right now. Rather, I think just a half cup of the water will do. This will be added to the sauce. I'll drain the pasta and come right back to you. Here's our pasta all drained. I'm going to add that right into the chickpeas. Take a spatula. And then give this a toss. Oh, this is fabulous already. Yeah, this is why I used a deep skillet. I wanted to have room for the 1 pound of pasta. You know what? I'm going to add some baby spinach leaves to this. Hold on. Here we go, because a little green never hurt anything. This will make the pasta dish even healthier, I think. We'll just stir this around until the greens wilt. And they should wilt very quickly. Also, I'm going to cut the heat. Also, I'm going to give this a squirt of my garlic paste. Hold on. Garlic paste, my new favorite thing. Add about the equivalent of 4 cloves, 4 large cloves. Stir that in. Yeah, so as you can see, a gourmet dinner is not too difficult to make. Honestly, I think good cooking just requires a fearless attitude and a sense of adventure. This looks terrific. And then I want to add the rosemary because that's what this is all about. And when you add the rosemary, just crush it in the palm of your hand. That will not only break up the leaves, but it will make the palm of your hand smell very nice. Give this another stir. Maybe I'll use the tongs to stir it. Oh yeah, this is much easier. I also want to add that ½ cup of reserved pasta water. Yeah. Oh baby. This looks great. And I'm going to plate this up. And then I'll show you the finished product. Okay. Now, I suddenly remembered that I have lemons in the refrigerator, so I'm going to cut one. This is a seedless lemon. Give a nice squirt. I think I'll use both halves of the lemon. This will just add another layer of flavor, a very bright flavor at that. And then give it another toss. Oh yeah. Again, I wish you were in the kitchen with me. Not only would I enjoy your company, but I would enjoy sharing this dish with you. And then we're going to plate this up, and there's a way, sorry about that. Find my big fork. Now there is a way to unravel spaghetti, or rather coil it onto a plate. Let's see if I can get in here closer. So you put it on a fork like this, and twirl and twirl and twirl. And then release it like this onto the plate. Well, that didn't work out so well. So you know what? Just put the spaghetti on any old way. I'm going to add a few more chickpeas to mine. I'm also going to add some shredded Parmesan cheese. This is nothing expensive. Just a little. That will give the dish some additional protein. And I think a little sprinkle of coarsely minced parsley. And then a taste. Let's see if I did this right. Wow. This is spectacular. Sorry it's so dark in here. I hope you can see all right. Absolutely spectacular. The chickpeas are nice and crisp, and they make a nice companion for the al dente bucatini. Oh yeah. And that garlic paste has permeated throughout the dish. The rosemary, of course, is exquisite. So I'm going to finish this off. I'm all here by myself tonight, so it looks like I'm going to have plenty of leftovers because I don't think I'm going to eat an entire pound of pasta for dinner. Although, who knows? This is so delicious, I could very well eat the whole thing. So one more bite. Promise me you'll try this at home. You really don't even need a recipe. Just watch this video once or twice. You'll get the gist of it. Nevertheless, I will put the ingredients in the description box below. And if you want to play around with the ingredients, make this dish uniquely yours, be my guest. That's how we learn. Okay, thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and tap the little bell icon so that you can receive notifications every time I post a new video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.